For over a decade, we've witnessed one of the most electrifying rivalries in recent memory, the Golden State Warriors versus the Houston Rockets. Through countless playoff battles, these teams hated each other. It was some of the most intense basketball we've seen, and the tension is still ongoing. In today's video, we're going to revisit this rivalry from 2013 to 2019 and break down every single trash-talking moment. A lot of you have requested this video in the comments, so I had to get to it. With a mix of lip reading, live audio, and interviews, you will finally know what these players really said. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. It all started in 2013. The Warriors were on the rise, led by a 24-year-old Steph Curry. That year, they had also drafted Draymond Green, adding some physicality to the roster. Meanwhile, the Rockets were centered around James Harden. This was his first full season with Houston, so they gave him the keys to the offense. Both teams were in playoff contention, setting the stage for February 5th, 2013. This was the first matchup between the two that season, and things got interesting. To start, the Rockets made 23 threes as a team. This tied the NBA three-point record at the time, needing just one more to break it. However, Draymond Green had other plans. With 35 seconds left, he clotheslined Patrick Beverley. Marcus Morris immediately defended his teammate, saying, "Don't do that shit, bro. Don't do that shit, bro." Then he called Draymond sorry while they were being separated. Both Morris and Draymond were ejected from the game as the Rockets won by 31 points. Now, this might have seemed like a normal altercation, but it was the start of a physical rivalry. On January 21st, 2015, things got shippy again. At the time, the Warriors were rolling with a 30-6 record, so they dominated the Rockets. By the third quarter, they were already up by 20 points. Patrick Beverley tried everything he could to spark a comeback, which is when he walked up on Curry. He didn't give him any space to breathe, so Curry shoved him out of the way. This resulted in a technical foul, which is exactly what Beverley wanted. Then Curry committed an offensive foul as he was moving on a screen. Trevor Ariza didn't like that, so he also walked into Curry's face. Curry was pissed as he shouted, "Hey." He tried to chase Ariza before Draymond pulled him away. Ariza wasn't bothered one bit as he said, "F are you gonna do?" Curry smiled back, with Draymond trying to avoid an ejection. The refs called a technical foul on Ariza and Curry took over. He finished the game with 22 points and 10 assists while leading the Warriors to a 13-point win. Clearly the tension was brewing, setting the stage for the 2015 Western Conference Finals. At the time, the Rockets had just came back from a 3-1 deficit to the Clippers. They were extremely confident they could win this series, especially Jason Terry. He started being physical with Curry, trying to throw his game off. Then, after making a bucket in transition, Terry said, "I'm right here. I'm right here." In the same play, Terry barely made an effort to defend, so Curry got him back with a 3. He also went off for 34 points as Terry stood no chance defensively. Also, with 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter, Draymond Green and Trevor Ariza got into it. It looked like they were wrestling on the court, but nothing escalated after this. The Warriors took the first 2 games, with Game 3 being Houston's last hope. They were at home with their whole fan base supporting them. However, Steph Curry couldn't miss. He scored 40 points and went off in the third quarter. The Rockets had no answers for Curry, which is when this fan intervened. He yelled "brick" before a Curry 3, but he still made it. Curry also stared him down and laughed at him. Then, after giving Golden State a 24-point lead, Curry started looking at the crowd. The same fan tried to get Curry's attention, but he straight up ignored him. Curry was on a roll, saying, "Hell yeah." The Warriors took a 3-0 lead, with Houston responding in Game 4. Although there wasn't much trash talk, Dwight Howard hit Andrew Bogut in the face. This occurred in the third quarter, so teammates tried to calm him down. Still, Howard felt like Bogut was holding him, saying, "What do you want me to do?" A flagrant foul 1 was called, so Howard was upset. Regardless, the Warriors took care of business in Game 5. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson combined for 46 points, with Harden and Howard having rough nights. Still, Curry embraced Harden after the game. You could tell these two really respected each other even though this rivalry would intensify. In the 2016 playoffs, the Warriors and Rockets matched up in the first round. For context, this was the 73-9 Warriors team, so all eyes were on Curry. Before game 1 even started, Beverly bumped into Curry on purpose. Everyone knew what kind of night this was going to be, and it showed in the first quarter. With 6 minutes left, Beverly committed a foul and tried to get the ball from Curry. Their arms got locked up, so Curry pushed them away. Beverly also hit Curry in the face, and Draymond said, "Don't do that, bro." Curry was also fired up, saying, "Let's go, come on." This was all part of Beverly's plan as double technical fouls were called. It looked like Beverly was going to be the difference maker, but it didn't last long. The Warriors destroyed the Rockets as Curry scored 24 points. Unfortunately, he suffered an ankle injury, so he didn't play in the next 3 games. The Warriors were able to go up 2-0, but Houston took game 3. It was all James Harden that night as he had 35 points and 9 assists. He also stared Draymond down after a 3 and made the game-winning shot for the Rockets. Curry did return for game 4, but he only played 18 minutes. His ankle was causing a lot of discomfort, but the Warriors got the job done. They won the next 2 games, finishing the series in 5. Now, the rivalry will take a complete shift. On July 4th, 2016, Kevin Durant infamously joined the Warriors. This came after the team blew a 3-1 lead in the finals, so everyone was stunned. It looked like the rivalry with Houston was over, but they stood their ground. In their first matchup against the KD Warriors, the Rockets were in the game all throughout. Harden was getting wherever he wanted, which is when Pachulia got in the mix. As he was getting ready to rebound, he elbowed Harden in the face. Harden pushed him and immediately went to the refs. He said, "Watch the elbows." However, that wouldn't be the only time Harden got hit. After Draymond grabbed the rebound, he kicked and elbowed James Harden in the face. This looked really questionable, so the referees held a long review. Draymond thought Harden had it coming as he said,
"He's jumping in the air."
Still, the refs gave Draymond a flagrant foul 1. Harden made the free throws, leading Houston to a 5-point win. His performance caught everyone by surprise as he basically beat 4 All-Stars by himself. Regardless, the Warriors won the next 3 games against the Rockets. They eventually won the title that year, which motivated Houston to acquire Chris Paul. This was seen as a great fit with Harden since he was a traditional point guard. Houston had their eyes on the title and were set to play Golden State on opening night. Just like the other matchups, this was a really close game. Harden was going at Curry offensively and getting wherever he wanted. Chris Paul noticed this, and after the Rockets won a thriller, he said, You can tell the tension was starting to build, setting the stage for January 20th, 2018. This was another primetime matchup as it was aired on ESPN. This time, it was Chris Paul who led the way for Houston. He had 33 points and 11 rebounds while also giving us one of his best moments.
Guys, the cameras caught Chris Paul doing a great fake laugh here. When Steve Kerr looks away. Yeah, not funny.
As you can tell, Paul didn't mess with anyone on the Warriors. Still, the game was close and it came down to James Harden making the last shot. This was the dagger for Houston as they won by 8 points. After the buzzer sounded, Clint Capella said that the Rockets were officially the better team. This didn't sit well with Durant as he thought Capella shouldn't be talking.
No, I said it myself. I mean, you hear that from the guys like Capella. Usually he's catching the ball and laying it up from CP or James Harden. So his job is not as hard. I mean, when your job is that hard, you know you can't just come out there and say shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't expect that from CP and James, Reza, and the rest of the guys, because they know how hard it is to come out there and do that every night. Capella, I mean, catch and dunk every night, so it's pretty easy.
Basically, Durant thought Capella was a bum, setting the stage for the 2018 playoffs. All eyes were on this matchup, and Draymond was asked if he always wanted to play Houston.
With the Rockets having all that, talking the narrative of what they've been saying about you guys, did you guys at all want them as much as they wanted you with them having said all that this season?
We don't have to say nothing. What we doing?
Man, we won 2 championships in 3 years. We're not about to run off talking about how bad we want to play somebody. Like, we want to win another championship. And it don't matter who's in the way of that. If you in the way of that, then you happen to be in the way. But, we're not about to run around like, yeah, we want to play them in the conference finals for what? Like, it don't matter to us who we play. However, we got them. All right, now let's get it. We get to it now. But it makes no sense for us to run around, we want them as bad as they want us for what?
In other words, Draymond was extremely confident that the Warriors were gonna win. The Western Conference Finals came and these two matched up. In Game 1, things got heated in the first 60 seconds. After Harden scored a tough bucket on Durant, he was pumped. Draymond thought Harden was in his way, so he pushed him. That resulted in a technical foul, with Draymond calling Harden a motherfucker. Harden wasn't bothered as he shrugged his shoulders. Then, in the second quarter, Paul exchanged words with Durant. It came after Durant was looking for a foul call and Paul simply said, "Play ball." You could tell this series was going to be tense and the intensity kept going. Harden and Durant exchanged buckets, but it was Golden State who came out on top. However, Game 2 was all Houston. They were making all of their shots and the Warriors just couldn't respond. Even Chris Paul's brothers started talking to Durant, who replied, "Sit down." The Rockets were that dominant, but things would get shippy in the fourth quarter. With 5 minutes left, Durant pushed Harden out of bounds. He received a technical foul, but Draymond Green also got in the action. Just 20 seconds later, he gave Trevor Ariza a hard push. Chris Paul was enjoying it and the Warriors were mentally checked out. They lost by 22 points as they were heading back home. Now, the Warriors returned the favor in Game 3. This was largely due to Steph Curry, who was perfect in the third quarter. He scored 18 of his 35 points in just that quarter alone. Mind you, Curry struggled in the previous games, so he was amped up. After scoring a layup over a defender, he said, "This is my house." Then in the fourth quarter, Draymond got into it with Ariza again. This came after another hard foul with Ariza pushing him back. Draymond said, "Don't do that," and Ariza replied, "Do something about it." Draymond thought Ariza was all talk and more words were exchanged. They were both giving texts and the hatred was starting to build. The Warriors won Game 3 by 41 points, with Game 4 being the most heated one yet. It started in the second quarter when Harden dunked all over Draymond and pulled him down. Draymond thought it was a travel, but the basket counted. Then, with 9 minutes left in the third quarter, Draymond got tangled up with Chris Paul. He tried to stop the play, but Paul didn't like the way he grabbed him. Just 30 seconds later, Draymond drew a foul on Paul. Draymond was pumped, so he called him a bitch. Paul wasn't having it again, so he yelled, "Say it again, say it again." These two clearly hated each other and Paul just kept smiling. Even a Warriors fan tried to take matters into his own. Basically, Paul wasn't bothered and the game would continue to intensify. With 5 minutes left, Steph Curry had some words. After giving the Warriors the lead, Curry said, "Talk your shit, come on," pretty much giving the same energy back to the Rockets. Also, after making another huge 3, Curry did the shimmy. He was clearly feeling it and the Warriors were in a good position. The Rockets still kept fighting and found themselves up 3. With a second left, Curry got a good look, but he missed it. The Rockets were now tied at 2 games apiece as they were heading to Houston. Now, Game 5 was the most critical game yet. The Rockets had all the tools to win as they had home court advantage. They did just that as they were hitting from all cylinders. In fact, after Paul made this 3, he did the Curry shimmy in front of him. All Curry could do is smile, but the Warriors stayed in the game. These teams were literally trading buckets, with Houston having a 1-point lead with a minute left. However, Chris Paul suffered a hamstring injury on this play. It didn't look that severe at first, but it sidelined him for the rest of the series. Still, the Rockets won the game as they took a 3-2 lead. Rockets fans were hyped and even decided to troll Aisha Curry.
Hey look, Aisha, we're gonna beat y'all at home. Sorry, it's Houston time. It's Houston time. Look at her. She's all bitter and sour. Look at her. She's all bitter and sour. Look at her. Look at Papa Curry. He's all butthurt too. Papa Curry.
As you saw, the Rockets fanbase believed this was the year to make the finals. In Game 6, all signs pointed towards that. They were hitting everything in the first quarter as they had a 16-point lead. However, Klay Thompson took over in the third quarter. He was making all kinds of threes and said, "We're not going home." The Rockets were still in it, but the Splash Brothers were too much. After Curry made this 3, he gave a pad to James Harden, letting him know that it was time for Game 7. The Warriors ended up winning by 29 points as they were heading into Houston. Just like in Game 6, the Rockets got off to a great start. They led by as much as 15 and the Warriors season was in shambles. Durant explained it best in this interview.
Yeah, when we got down 15, we walked into that locker room like, oh shit, this can't be it. Like, we're losing with OCP. We had big dreams of just destroy the league, and we're going to end up like this. So coming out that half, I think we might hit a 3 to come out the half. And once we hit the first 3, I'm like, all right, we got our legs up under us. I knew we was going to walk them down after we made our first shot, and then they couldn't hit a 3.
The Rockets couldn't keep up as they missed 27 straight threes. Frustration started kicking in as this happened. Harden thought this was unsportsmanlike since Green basically pushed them away. He tried to tell the refs, but nothing escalated. In the end, Houston couldn't convert when it mattered and fans started taunting Warrior players. The main target was Kevin Durant, as someone said this.
KD, you can't win by yourself, baby. You know that. You ain't winning by yourself. Hey, win with yourself. You'll never be better than LeBron. You'll never be better than LeBron. Never. Get off, bro. Never.
You can tell Durant lives for these moments, and the Warriors ended up winning the series in 7. The Rockets were that close to making history, but they couldn't get it done. After the buzzer sounded, Harden immediately left without shaking hands. He didn't like anyone on the Warriors and explained what went wrong for Houston.
Mike was saying that you guys were pretty devastated in there after the game. How close did you feel to getting over the hump this time against the Warriors?
1/2 of basketball, 2 games, Game 6 and 7. 1/2 of basketball. We just didn't have the same energy that we had in that first half. Our pace. We had opportunities, a lot of opportunities, and then even in that fourth quarter, it's extremely frustrating.
With that in mind, Harden was looking for revenge in the following season. You could sense his frustration in that interview, and he gave us one of his best performances. On January 3rd, 2019, the Rockets played in Golden State for the first time since Game 6. It went down to the wire with some questionable moments taking place. With 30 seconds left, Durant clearly stepped out of bounds while saving the ball. This led to a Steph Curry make, giving the Warriors a 2-point lead. Harden couldn't believe that they missed this call, but he quickly moved on. With 5 seconds left, he made a tough shot over 2 defenders. It was mainly over Draymond, which made things even sweeter for Harden. He looked at him right after and said, "F you." That's how much he hated Draymond, and the Rockets ended up winning by 1 point. Harden finished with 44 points, 15 assists, and 10 rebounds. Now, these two teams would go back and forth before their next matchup. It started with Steph Curry, who said, quote, "The beauty of the NBA is that on Wednesday, we have an opportunity to send a statement. We have to take advantage of that opportunity. We're looking forward to it, no question." Clint Capella decided to fire back and told the media, quote, "Maybe for them, but for us, the last game is to build for the playoffs, so we want to keep our defense consistent and get better." In other words, he thought the Warriors had more to prove than the Rockets. However, those words didn't age well. The Warriors came out on top with Curry scoring 24 points. After the game concluded, Curry started laughing with the Warriors bench. Klay Thompson also said, "I told you." They thought the Rockets weren't a match for them, and Draymond said this after the game.
We beat them. So we don't need to get juiced that they say we're not on that level. That's dumb. Doesn't make sense. Not sure stupidity juices anyone. It's just like, oh, that's dumb. So, no.
Draymond wasn't worried about the Rockets setting the stage for the 2019 playoffs. The Rockets had just beat Utah in the first round, so Capella was extremely confident again. When asked if he wants to play the Warriors, he said this.
What do you think about the possibility of facing the Warriors in the next round, facing them again in the
Yeah,
playoffs?
I want. That's what I want. I want to face them. And
Oh man, you're gonna be all over Bleacher Report, man.
no, man,
It's cool though. It's what it is.
been working on it all year long. So if you want to be the champion, you got to be the champion. So at some point, you got to do it, right?
Yep. Make sure y'all put that too.
Chris Paul's reaction right here says it all, since he couldn't keep his mouth shut. Still, these two teams matched up in the second round. This time, the Warriors had home court advantage, but the games were still intense. In fact, no game was won by more than 6 points. That's how close this series was. To start, Game 1 contained a lot of emotions. It was mostly towards the referees as they made some questionable calls. With 3 minutes left in the second quarter, Curry was called for a foul on this drive. Draymond couldn't believe it and received a technical foul. He was confused and said, "You walked up to me." Zach Sarba, who was the ref, did approach him first, but Draymond literally got in his face. Steve Kerr didn't know what was going on, so he asked, "What did you say?" Draymond kept chirping at the referees, and you can hear some of it here. Chris Paul also got a technical in the third quarter. It came on this play as he shouted something to the referee. I couldn't get exactly what he said, but he was definitely looking for a 4-point play. Mike D'Antoni had his back, saying he got no space. No, Zach Sarba also gave him a tag, and D'Antoni was pissed. He said, "That's bullshit. Zach, come over here. Come on. That's an and one." Harden had to calm D'Antoni down since the game was still within reach. Both teams kept going back and forth with the Warriors up by 5 with a minute left. Harden had the ball, and while shooting, he stepped out of bounds. Curry made sure to remind him as he pointed right at the line. Still, Harden made up for it as he got an and one over Klay. The Rockets were now down by 2, but Curry came up big. He went one-on-one on Nene and hit a huge 3. He started dancing right after and said, "I needed one. Yeah, I needed one. I needed one." Prior to this, Curry was 2 for 9 from 3, so that's why he said that. The Rockets were able to cut it to 3 and had one last chance to win it. After Harden missed the 3, Paul grabbed the rebound and tried to make a play. However, Eric Gordon stepped out of bounds. Paul thought there should have been a call on Klay, but the refs didn't care. They ejected Paul out of the game, and the Warriors won by 4 points. The Rockets felt like they got robbed, and things only got worse in Game 2. With just 6 minutes left in the first quarter, Draymond poked Harden in the eye. He had to leave the game for further testing, and Draymond tried to apologize. He said, "I was going for the ball." my bad. Curry also suffered an injury as he dislocated his middle finger. Still, both were able to return in the second quarter. The game was neck to neck like always, but Golden State took over in the fourth. After Draymond got an exclamation dunk, Paul tried to trip him, basically looking out for Harden, but the Warriors still won the game. They were up 2-0 in the series heading into Houston. Now, Game 3 was a must-win game for the Rockets as they couldn't afford to go down 3-0. Just 5 minutes into the game, things got tense. While looking to make a drive, Harden got poked in the eye by Draymond again. Harden didn't like that, so he pushed him. This led to a heated exchange. As you heard, Harden thought Draymond was purposely trying to take him out. Still, the Rockets were battling. They kept adjusting with the game going into overtime. Harden led the way with 41 points, giving Houston a 5-point lead. With 20 seconds left, Curry was looking to make one last play. While doing so, Draymond knocked down Austin Rivers on a screen. This gave a clear lane for Curry, but he missed the dunk. Isaiah Hardenstein, who was on the bench, basically said that Curry stinks and the Rockets won the game. After the buzzer, Rivers was shaken up on the floor. The whole team went to check on him and you can see Harden complaining about Draymond's play. Now, Game 4 was another close battle, but things got heated in the third quarter. With 8 minutes left, Paul gave a hard foul to Draymond. He also stared him down and Draymond said, Durant tried to get Paul a tech, but the referees actually let them play. Like I said earlier, Paul and Draymond hated each other the most during this rivalry. Anyways, the Rockets took control of this game and won by 4. The series was now tied at 2 games apiece. Now, the Warriors came out firing in Game 5. They went on a 17-0 run in the second quarter, but something scary happened. After Durant attempted a jumper, he suffered a calf strain. There was no contact on the landing, which made the injury even more concerning. However, Klay Thompson got the job done for the Warriors. He finished with 27 points, and after giving Golden State an 8-point lead, he yelled, "I'm back, bitch." If you didn't know, Klay struggled in the previous 2 games, so this performance was much needed. The Rockets did keep it close at the end, but Klay Thompson scored another big-time shot. The Warriors took a 3-2 lead in the series, so Houston had to come out desperate. In fact, Chris Paul took it to another level. Prior to Game 6, Curry booked the Rockets court to warm up. It was only an hour session, but Chris Paul intervened. He decided to take the court himself, not allowing Curry to warm up. Curry still offered to share half court, but Paul kicked him out. This strategy seemed to work at first, as Curry struggled in the first half. He couldn't make a single basket and finished with 0 points. However, when the second half began, Curry gave us one of his best performances. He finished with 33 points and destroyed every single Rockets defender. PJ Tucker explained it best in this interview.
We going to halftime, he was like, yo, we down 10 and Steph got 0 points.
I'm no bullshit. I'm like, we can't win this game.
Like,
I
ain't holding
can't,
him.
bro, because I'm not doing that again. Like, and some of them, like, I feel like he won't even looking at the basket, bro. He just be like, it's like, is he serious? Like, he disrespected me. Like, bro, he's like dead ass, like, all right, he disrespectful. Like, for real, like, cause he catching, like, getting, like, you're like, bro, he didn't even look at the rim.
Yeah.
Like, for real, bro, no bullshit. Like, I'm like hyping stuff like that. Like, stuff like that, but like, bro.
You can tell Curry was stressing Tucker out and the Warriors won the series in 6 games. Curry was excited after the game, saying,
En cancha de los Rockets.
Not only that, but as Curry headed to the locker room, he said this.
Get me off the court again, boy. Come on. Let's go. Get it on.
As you heard, Curry had the last word as they advanced to the NBA Finals. However, these two rosters would experience major changes. For the Rockets, they moved on from Chris Paul as they sent him to OKC. Meanwhile, Kevin Durant joined the Brooklyn Nets, concluding an intense rivalry. It did pick right back up in the 2025 playoffs, but nothing compares to what we witnessed in the 2010s. And that pretty much concludes the video. What do you guys think of this rivalry? Which heated moment was your favorite? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I hope everyone has a great day. Peace out.